Welcome back to the Beast Game Podcast. This is a review for Jack Reacher, Never Go Back. Jack Reacher was directed by Edward Zwick. He has directed Glory, The Last Samurai with Tom Cruise, Blood Diamonds, and Love and Other Drugs. The screenplay is by Richard Wink. Previously, he has done The Magnificent Seven. You can find that on the website. The Equalizer and the Mechanic. It's based on a book by Lee Childs by the same name. It stars Tom Cruise as Jack Reacher. He's been in great movies such as Top Gun, A Few Good Men, Mission Impossible, The Last Samurai, and Edge of Tomorrow. Also appearing is Kobe Smulders as Major Turner. She is best known for her role as Maria Hill in various Marvel movies, and also in the How I Met Your Mother TV show. Danica Yarouche plays Samantha and has been in Heroes and Shameless. Lastly, Aldous Hodge plays Espen. He's best known for his roles in Leverage, Turn, and as MC Ren in Straight Outta Compton. The synopsis is Jack Reacher must uncover the truth behind a major government conspiracy in order to clear his name. On the run as a fugitive from the law, Reacher uncovers a potential secret from his past that could change his life forever. Matt, what is your view on Jack Reacher?
I personally liked the movie. The intensity was good from the start without being overwhelming. There was very few dull moments. The movie does not appear to drag on. Kind of has a Few Good Men feel for certain points through the movie. Chemistry between characters I felt was very well thought of, and you had a connection with at least the three main characters, and the plot seemed pretty believable in my book.
Okay, Keith.
I liked it. I liked it fine. I didn't like it as well as I liked the first movie. I think Tom Cruise plays the character of Jack Reacher well. His performance was fine. And I agree with Matt. The chemistry between all three of the actors was good. Especially the young character, Samantha. She did actually very well. I thought the villains were weak because the first Jack Reacher movie, the villains were like, I mean, you had the guy who called himself the Zach or something, and that just meant he just had one sort of a moniker, but he was just this sinister character in the background, just evil, this threat that was out there, and that Reacher didn't know about, and he was trying to go against. The characters that worked for him were equally menacing, and you didn't know who the good guys and the bad guys were in the first movie. This one was a lot more, I don't want to say by the numbers, but it was pretty much like villains in this movie were just kind of caricatures. I mean, they pretty much fit the archetype at that point, and they just weren't as fleshed out as they were in the first movie.
All right.
But the action was solid.
Let me just come in for a second. I don't know what movie you guys saw, but the movie I saw was one of the worst movies I've seen this year.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Good Lord, man.
Yes.
Oh my Lord.
Yes.
What?
Man, you just a hater, right? You
did not like this movie. So I wanted to go see it with another member that doesn't generally get on the podcast. And he also felt the same way that I felt. So you guys are off the podcast. This is it.
I'm taking on the podcast, man. Hold on. Let me take the recording ranges, man. I got to know what he's hating now.
The first Jack Reacher.
I haven't seen the first Jack Reacher.
The first Jack Reacher is a 6 or 7-ish movie to me. That movie was pretty self-contained and it worked. This one, so the movie starts off with a scene from the trailer where he's in a diner and then he's supposed to meet a major that bails him out of that situation. The major winds up being charged with espionage. Jack Reacher tries to investigate her case and then also is told that he has a daughter and that he's not a very good parent. So he tries to go investigate that, and that is also tied into the issue with the major. The major is Kobe Smulders. So at that point, everyone in the case begins to wind up dead. Jack Reacher is also being framed, breaks himself out of jail and Kobe Smulders, and then goes to protect his daughter. So the plot is just unnecessarily complex for however many characters are important to the storyline. And that the dialogue was terrible. It's also an unbelievable approach to how they were traveling across country. So they go from D.C., Maryland to all of a sudden being in New Orleans.
They want a flight?
And they had a straight shot.
All right, but they stole a credit card.
Fly from one state to another?
They stole identities from somebody else. And then how is that going to happen if they are supposed to be in jail? Like, there would be such a high alert again, this movie.
She paid in
And
cash.
then it was like the sections where his daughter was involved, or alleged daughter, was laughable. The end scene was terrible. The action wasn't very good. So again, I don't know. Again, I don't know what movie you guys saw. I do
Damn,
not.
man.
we
I
saw this
do
movie,
You saw
not.
the
man.
same movie you
We
I-
saw the same damn movie. All right?
You guys are off the podcast. yo.
I mean, he's
The
butchering
is
this
over.
joint, man.
I went to go see the.
Did you say the podcast is over?
He's like, he just came on there to rag on it and like just basically say, we don't know.
So
what
your
we're talking
opinion doesn't
about.
matter. Shut it down.
Yeah, basically. So I went to go see the accountant.
No, you talked enough, though. All right, you're a hater, all right?
I went to go see the accountant.
I agree with
Which
Keith. I
the-
very barely ever agree with Keith. I agree with Keith at this point.
Well,
You're a hater.
I will say before we recorded this podcast, Matt wanted to see what scores he had given previous movies, and thank you for doing some research, Matt. I don't see how he liked this movie. All right, so why don't you guys go ahead and just detail some other stuff you liked about it?
Thank
Like, how did you feel about Tom Cruise?
Tom Cruise is Tom Cruise. I mean, he played the role like he played it in the first movie, and character was pretty stoic. I mean, he had some more dialogue in this one, but he didn't play the typical Tom Cruise-esque character where he's the super charming guy, you know, flashing a grin every 20 seconds and stuff. Played it like kind of
Like
a
a-
drifter, a loner type character, like much like the character Jack Reacher, and he was solid. It's Tom Cruise. I mean, the dude delivers.
All right, let me just go ahead and say a couple of things.
Oh God.
That this is his worst movie.
God, yeah,
What?
I'm tired of you, man.
His worst movie?
Your opinion now is valid.
This is Tom
validated,
Cruise's
you know?
worst movie to me.
What the heck?
This is
Hold
his
on,
worst
I'm right
movie.
back. I'm pulling up some Tom Cruise
All right,
movies
so-
right now.
Matt,
And
how do you feel about Tom Cruise?
I felt he played his role very well without the charismatic Top Gunnish type feel.
All right. So let's talk about Kobe Smothers, who plays Major Turner, who is the person that plays opposite Tom Cruise, is one of the people that has bailed him out of the initial situation that she is accused of espionage. How did you feel about Kobe Smothers, Matt?
She played a very believable character, and she had chemistry not only with the main star but the young girl.
Keith.
I liked her. She still played Kobe Smothers, so she had that charm she has and throwing out the occasional one-liners and jokes. I guess using humor to disarm a couple of situations, but there was a couple of scenes where she just like, she acted like an army officer. And she had a scene with Tom Cruise about, you know, he was basically kind of treating her with kid gloves because she was a woman, but at the same time, he flipped the script on her and she played a character that was much in a similar situation that Reacher was in. And she had this chip on her shoulder about the way men treated her as a female, as a military officer. There were a couple scenes where that came to play. That came off pretty well. Yeah, she was then, she could handle herself. She wasn't, and they didn't make her like this, what they typically do with females in action movies, where she just kicks the shit out of any dude who comes in front of her.
She got her
Yeah.
ass whooped.
I
she
would
got
agree
smacked around
that,
a couple times.
particularly at the end of the movie, there's a fight sequence between her and a couple of the villains, and she did kind of get
Her ass
demolished.
whooped.
Yeah, but she stepped right, but you
Yeah,
know,
but
at the same
she-
time, she came right back and like, yeah, and she dropped them believably. It was like, especially
Yeah.
when she fucking choked that dude out with a damn guard. I was like,
Yeah, she did.
damn.
Yeah, that was pretty brutal. But so we're gonna go on so I can talk about Kobe Smothers. Kobe Smothers played a believable major. Yeah, I thought that her attitude and her approach to her character was what I had expected from the movie, and I thought that she was probably the only positive in the movie. In a movie that has a lot of negatives.
Negative.
All right,
It's not a math equation.
let's talk about Danica Yavrush. So she plays Tom Cruise's supposed daughter in the movie. And how did you feel about her, Matt?
Felt she played her role well. Angry, rebellious kid with apparently no parental guidance. And as the adults were paying her attention, she started becoming more receptive, kind of like in real life.
Keith.
She did well. She was in scenes with two major actors. Or like most of her scenes were with some major talent, so she didn't get overshadowed in any of her scenes when she was with them, especially towards at the end. And I like that little touch at the end of the movie. But she wasn't played that kind of the hard ass or the I want to say more bitter child in foster care with a kind of an absentee father, or she doesn't know who her father is. She doesn't have a father figure, and she's trying to help her mom out. So she played a character who's acted far more maturely than she really was.
Unnecessarily more maturely, but go ahead.
God dang.
You do know she had to grow up sooner than later without the guidance.
I'm
of her
fine with that,
parents.
but
It made her mature sooner.
she was not good in the movie.
Damn,
What-
Barry.
Was she supposed to be immature?
She was
Did you
not good in the
believe
movie.
that- Oh, no,
All
no, no. Did you not like believe that type of role, or was she just reading the lines?
She was just reading the lines.
No
you
way.
invalidated. You
So-
totally invalidated.
No,
All right.
no. So this is what happens with her character.
Valid.
She goes from a one-dimensional character to a two-dimensional character.
The heck are you talking about?
All right. So the first dimension is I'm just a rebellious teen, and for some reason I like to draw, and this drawing helps me to escape myself. The second dimension is, well, now Kobe Smulders teaches me how to disarm somebody, so I'm able to, in the final scene of this movie, do the same disarming move that I was taught earlier.
He had no idea she was gonna do that because she was
No
a child.
shit. That dude is focused on Reacher, who's just like a foot from him, like what, 2 feet from him with a
All right,
load
all
of
right,
weapons.
so let me cut you off for a second. What about the whole? All of a sudden, she disappears to go to the drug den to go find information. What about
She
that?
didn't go to a drug den.
She did.
She walked around the street a
Didn't she
bit.
wasn't she doing that at her hometown?
They did no shit, dude. She was like walking
No.
around like stealing stuff. Yeah, she was.
She was doing that at her hometown. What's the difference between hometown and New Orleans?
But what about having her also be a part of the pickpocket crew to get onto the airplane?
She was a thief.
She was being a thief
She
in the
was
beginning. It's not like all of a sudden
This
she
whole
was a thief.
thing is
She was
just
doing that
th-
from
this
the
whole
This
thing.
dude got in the movie
No,
theater, got his
no,
popcorn.
no.
and
So
just sat there and was like, I don't like this movie.
all right. So
Didn't she
what
steal something in
happens is that I
store?
understand
You
this
know
is
what
a
she
book.
saw? Did she steal balloons?
This is a book, but at some point you need to go away from
This
the source
is real
material.
life.
The source material. I don't even think must be a good book.
What?
It can't be. The first
Oh
one,
my God.
the first
Holy
movie,
shit, man.
whatever this
Are we
original
talking
book
about
was.
the book or are we talking about the movie?
We are talking about both. Like neither one of them are good.
He's just talking about just the whole
He
Jack
didn't
Reacher
even
thing.
read
It's
the
just
book.
probably some
Oh, we're
shit.
talking about the movie.
I don't even want to see another Jack Reacher movie. after
Matter of
this
fact, I don't
one.
know anything about Jack Reacher. Well, like, can someone fill me in with like what, like?
Well, he's
what's
a
his character?
former military investigative person.
Think of A Few Good Men with
With
the
fight
other
scenes?
fighting movie,
Yeah,
Mission
with fight
Impossible.
scenes and
That's like his
a
role.
little bit of MacGyver, a little bit of Jason Bourne, and that is
Okay.
Jack Reacher.
There's none of that stuff. All right, that's
Damn,
completely
Brandon.
inaccurate.
No, he's
Like,
more
hold,
like
That's
hold on.
completely
So,
inaccurate.
so Matt
That's completely
made a
inaccurate.
comparison to A Few Good Men. That I would say that would be accurate because that
Yes.
would have been his role before he left the military. He's
He was
correct.
a little bit investigative, yes.
Yeah. So he
Especially when
turns
it came to the end of
so
the
he turns
movie and
more or less
figuring it
into a
out.
private eye or the equalizer that he helps people. Would you agree with that, Keith?
I would disagree with that. He doesn't go around helping people, dude. He's basically all right.
The
this
movie
is the
starts
character.
off with him rescuing.
No, listen to me. All right, you got in that movie theater with like, I hate Tom Cruise and I hate his movies. and
Yeah,
I
I like Tom Cruise. Edge of Tomorrow is a great movie.
Nah, hold up, man.
Last
It's not Will
Samurai,
Smith.
great movie.
Not Will Smith. All right.
Yo.
All right, hold on. All right. James asked a question. He asked, "What is the Jack Reacher about?" All right, this is what Jack Reacher is. All right, he's a former major in the United States Army. All right, he headed a unit.
Ex-major.
Yeah, he headed a unit in the criminal investigation division. He decided to leave the military because he'd never seen America. He'd grown up overseas in military bases all his whole life. Packs up, leaves. He runs into a bit of problems like before the movies ever start or the books. Retires, carry anything with him. He just goes from place to place, just kind of seeing the country. Now, the character in the books is my height. He's basically like, apparently the character in the book is like The Rock size, like Dwayne Johnson size. So he kind of travels from place to place. He's a big guy. He doesn't talk much. He doesn't say much. Everything's very introspective with him, but he's extremely smart. Like, God knows numbers backwards and forwards. And he's got a photographic memory, I think, and was accused of sniping someone and told them, the investigators, to find Jack Reacher. And in this case, Jack Reacher was reaching out, or he'd at one point someone bailed him out of trouble. That was the major in this movie, and he kept correspondence with her. So they hook up, they end up setting up a date. That's what set it up. That's why they did the whole first scene to show that he and his major had a relationship that was platonic but very long distance. The two of them writing each other, sending emails and
That
stuff.
they had a chemistry between each other.
Exactly. He
Took
says, I'm
time
gonna
to
follow up and
grow.
check her out. And that's
I scratch
how
your
it got
back,
started.
you scratch my back.
Pretty much. That's how this gets started.
All right, Keith. That's enough about Jack Reacher. So
This guy, man. This dude is like
Hating.
All right. All right, go ahead.
the movie is not good. The villains in the movie are not good. So the whole angle with this is a drugs and guns angle that
With a few good men.
a military contractor is somehow involved in decommissioning weapons from overseas and trying to bring them back, and the numbers don't add up. That's the whole angle for the villains. And there's just one villain that just has a hard on for Jack Reacher in the movie.
Like I said the villains were the weakest part of this movie. This guy's like the whole story premise, directing, and the fact that the movie's made was the
Between
weakest part of
this
this movie.
and the accountant, I would rather watch the accountant. The accountant has more going for it than Jack Reacher, and I did not like the accountant. You are welcome.
Funny,
You are
man.
welcome to
Like,
question
I think
me.
you hate Tom Cruise.
I don't hate Tom Cruise. I like Tom Cruise. This is just
hate
not
the
a good
book.
movie for him. This is not a good movie for him. That is it.
Oh, this guy.
All right. So let's get into scores.
So random. Let's get into scores.
Go to scores.
All right. So
What the hell, dude?
Matt, would you like to provide some wrap-up thoughts and give you a score for Jack Reacher?
I would give a score of an 8.
You're
like
off the
this movie.
podcast.
Huh?
You disagree with Barry's assessment, dude. So
I disagree with
therefore you're
Barry's assessment.
Yeah, therefore you are off the podcast.
Oh,
I
man,
still
it's
give it
fun.
an 8. I would watch this movie again.
I will too.
Why do you two give it an 8?
Oh, well, I don't give it an 8, so I'll give it a
Okay,
7.
why do you give it an 8, Matt?
I give it an 8. I liked it.
And Keith, go ahead with your score.
I will expand a bit. What the hell was that?
What is going on?
What the hell is that?
How
the hell?
Okay, Keith. Okay.
All right. This movie, 7. All right, I give it a 7 because it's a watchable film. It's entertaining. I thought Tom Cruise does a job. It told the story well. However, I did not like the villains. The villains in the first Jack Reacher were pretty much the shit. I mean, the Zach telling the dudes to bite off his own fingers and stuff was like, that was pretty intense. But in this one, it's kind of like they were just caricatures and just the evil rich guy who's only out for money and doesn't care what he does. And you got whatever this guy was. Who was that guy who just had a insane hard on for him? He didn't have a name in the movie. He's just bad guy. Patrick Husinger. He wasn't he wasn't a good villain. I mean, a guy for Tom Cruise to fight and stuff and get punched and get beat up on. I thought the actors, Kobe Smulders, Tom Cruise, and Danica did very well together. They all three of them had great chemistry together, and it was a good film, and I like how it worked out. But again, it's not better than the first movie, and I will admit there's some flaws in the movie. It's not perfect in any way, shape, or form. That end fight scene was pretty tame compared to the first Jack Reacher movie.
Yep. Where he just rained down terror on everyone.
Yeah, that exactly. But the fight did get pretty brutal pretty quick. I mean, damn, he did just snap the guy's neck with a knee to the back of the neck and shit. So I was just like, shit. And, props to Kobe Smulders for like choking a dude out with a garden hose. God damn.
That was pretty funny.
She just put a knee in his back and just like killed his ass. I was like,
That's like God of War type stuff.
oh shit, boy. She choked his ass out. Never lay your hands on that woman again. But,
Although she got whooped pretty good too.
yeah, she got clubbed a bit, but like I say, that made it more believable instead of that she would run around and fight and stuff like that. It also didn't follow the normal Hollywood tropes of Tom Cruise and her hooking up and stuff. Unfortunately, it's a bit of a spoiler,
So it
but
made her like a strong, independent woman.
oh yeah,
She is an equal to Tom Cruise in this movie.
pretty much.
Okay.
They had a scene where they got into it where it was kind of like, I'm Jack Reacher, I'm going to take the lead, and she was like, why? Because you're a dude. Like what? It just kind of back and forth between them about that whole
He has
dynamic and
issues.
stuff.
Well, let me provide some closing thoughts and a
Okay.
score.
He's gonna kick us off again.
I'm gonna say that this movie does not serve a purpose for being made.
What?
Mainly because the first movie did not do well. Regardless of how I feel about the first movie, which it was a good movie, this movie just doesn't serve a purpose for being made. The Medea movie beat out Jack Reacher this weekend.
Wow.
I would have watched that movie.
What, the Medea film?
Yeah,
Hey, why don't you let us know how that is?
I will.
All right. But again, this movie doesn't deserve to be made.
What?
Damn, man.
It doesn't deserve to be made. So
Concern.
the first movie where the villains and the plot mattered more than this one.
Yes.
Okay. So again, I know this is a book and that they have to pull from that in order to develop a story. And the story that was on screen was not better than the first movie.
Correct.
All right.
I
So
have no comment. I haven't seen the first movie.
You'll like it.
yeah, so the first movie you had Robert Duvall in it. You had Rosamund Pike, David Oyelowo, Werner Herzog. That was a much better cast than this one, other than Colby Smulders. Would you agree, Keith?
Yes.
Okay, so my score, at some point, maybe towards the middle of the movie, I was like, well, maybe the second half of the movie could pick up and turn it into a better movie. But there was that part where they went to the airport, which started going downhill for me. And then the part in New Orleans where it kind of dragged on. So what you would get is a little bit of action, whole bunch of dialogue, a little bit of action, whole bunch of dialogue, and all this emotional stuff with somebody that he finds out not to be his daughter, for spoilers. It just doesn't serve a purpose. Like, none of it serves a purpose to me. So my score is a 2.5.
2.5.
Yes.
What?
Out of 10?
Yes.
You would watch X-Men and Suicide Squad over
I would watch.
over this?
Yes. Definitely will watch
Suicide
X-Men.
Squad.
Suicide Squad. Might have to think about that one.
Yeah, you might want to think about that one, dude.
Again, I give that a 2.5.
You hated Suicide Squad.
So again,
Like
I
you're a
went to go see this.
stepchild. You can't even have redheaded
I
stepchild.
went to go see this with Tyrone, and we talked maybe about 10 minutes after the movie, and he also felt the same way. Maybe not the 2.5 same way, but definitely below a 5.
2.
Man, that's supposed to be Blair Witch shit.
It's not that bad, Jay.
That's hard to do, man. I ain't even seen Jack Reacher, but I don't think nothing's better than Blair Witch.
Again, like I said, when you asked me about how I felt about it, I said I need other opinions. You two guys went to go see it.
That's the reason why I saw it.
Matt, you're off the podcast.
Oh, this guy, man. You know, podcast, man.
All right. Well, so I'm just going to go ahead and wrap this up. So that's the Beast Gang Podcast. You can find more of our podcasts at beastgang.com, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Twitter, and YouTube.